What if the voice that's been calling you lazy wasn't yours? What if it was something older? Something that's afraid of what happens when you finally show up? Not just pretend, not start again, but actually stand, and not sit back down. There was a version of me that lived behind my eyes. You wouldn't have noticed. I laughed at the right times, said I'm good like a reflex, but inside I was running in place. Not moving, not falling, just trembling, quietly. I'd wake up with a weight in my ribs, not pain, not exhaustion. A kind of thick silence that wrapped around my thoughts like smoke. No sound, no clarity, just a vague knowing that I was already behind, already wrong. My phone was the first ritual. Scroll, escape, trade my breath for noise. I thought that was just life. Overstimulated, distracted, modern. But the truth? I was hiding. From responsibility, from discomfort, from the version of me that would no longer accept the soft lies. The lie that said, "You'll change when you feel ready. You're just not that kind of person." You tried. But I hadn't. I'd flirted with effort, but I'd never actually committed. Because commitment meant I had to bury the story that protected me. One night I sat on the floor, not for drama, not in crisis, just tired, in a way that sleep doesn't fix. Shadow was beside me, not speaking, just watching, a mirror with no mercy. And in that room something shattered. There was no epiphany, no grand vision, just a sentence, sharp, cold, and final. No one is coming. It didn't echo. It didn't ask for agreement. It just sat inside me like a weight I couldn't spit out. And for the first time, I realized something terrifying. There would be no spark, no magical mentor, no video that would flip the switch. The only difference between the me I feared becoming and the me I dreamed of becoming was whether I stood up that night or not. So I did. The next morning I didn't make a plan, didn't buy a new notebook, didn't tell the world I was changing. I just stood up when the alarm went off. My mind begged for comfort. My spine refused. I ran, not well, not far. My lungs shrieked, my legs dragged, but I ran anyway. Then I wrote one page, not poetic, not insightful, just raw, ugly truth. I made my bed, drank water, did one push-up, not for strength, but for proof. That night, when I lay in bed, something felt honest. Not happy, not fixed, but true. The voice that said, "You'll never change," was quiet, because I had finally answered it, not with a speech, but with action. You see, people talk about discipline like it's a punishment, like it's military, rigid, oppressive, but it's not. Discipline is devotion without an audience. It's saying yes to your future and no to your past, with no applause in sight. The next days weren't easier. I still failed, still forgot, still broke promises, but fewer. The difference now was, I stopped quitting, I stopped restarting, and started continuing. That was the shift. I used to think motivation was the beginning, but I learned. Motivation is the smoke. Discipline is the fire. The voice that says, "Stay in bed," isn't your enemy. It's a wounded version of you trying to keep you safe. But safety isn't peace. It's stagnation with good PR. And peace? Peace comes from standing in the fire and realizing, you didn't burn, you forged. So if you're hearing this while laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking maybe tomorrow, no, not tomorrow. Now. One step. Not because it's easy, but because the voice that's been lying to you only survives in stillness. Move. Not perfectly, not impressively. Just move. That's where the new voice begins, the one you haven't heard yet. But when you do, you'll know. That silence that confronted you, It wasn't the end. It was your beginning.